Buddha Peaceful Mind. Where should parents stand when children marry? 68 minutes. Have you ever loved someone so much that your love quietly became a rope? Not a rope you meant to tie, not a rope you wanted to use, but a rope woven from worry, sacrifice, and sleepless nights. A rope made of good intentions, a rope that slowly wraps around the one you cherish until they cannot breathe without asking your permission. Many parents do not see this rope because it feels like care, because it looks like responsibility, because it sounds like the familiar sentence, "I only want what is best for you." But then a day arrives that changes the air in the home. Your child marries. A new bond is formed. A new household begins. And suddenly, without warning, the rope pulls tight. A question rises in the heart, sharp and tender at the same time. Where do I stand now in the life of my child? Some parents step forward, as they always have. They advise quickly. They correct often. They manage details. They decide even when nobody asks them to decide. They do this out of love, but it feels like pressure to everyone else. Some parents step back too far. They become cold. They withdraw. They say, "Fine, live your life." But inside, they are wounded and lonely. So where is the middle way? Where is the place where love becomes a blessing, not a burden? Where is the place where parents can remain close in heart without standing too close in control? Welcome, dear friends, to Buddha Peaceful Mind. If you are a parent who is learning how to let your child grow, you are not alone. If you are a son or daughter who feels torn between your spouse and your parents, you are not alone. If you are a husband or wife who longs for peace in the home, you are not alone. In this talk, we will reflect on a teaching that is deeply aligned with the Buddha's path. It is not about abandoning family. It is not about cutting ties. It is about learning to love with wisdom. It is about learning how to stand in the right place so that your child's family can breathe and your own heart can be free. The Buddha often pointed to a simple truth that changes everything when we truly see it. All conditioned things change. Everything that arises will pass. Every role in life will transform. And suffering is born when the mind refuses to accept what life is doing. A child is not a possession. A child is a living being walking their own path, shaped by causes and conditions. Parents offer food, shelter, and guidance, but they cannot own the future. They can only plant seeds, and even the best seeds must be released to the earth, to the rain, to the seasons. When a child is small, parents naturally stand in front. They protect from danger. They choose the road. They hold the hand tightly near the street. They decide because the child cannot yet decide. Then the child grows. Parents stand beside. They teach. They warn. They encourage. They let the child try, and they are ready to catch them. This is a beautiful stage. It is companionship. It is training. It is love with guidance. But marriage is a threshold. Marriage is the moment when your child says, in action, if not in words, "I will build a life with another person." It is the moment when the center of your child's daily life shifts. It is not a rejection of parents. It is the natural unfolding of life. If parents insist on remaining in front after marriage, the new couple cannot walk. If parents insist on remaining beside in every decision, the couple cannot learn to balance. The couple becomes like a plant in a pot that is never moved into the open sunlight. The Buddha's teaching invites us to a different kind of love. Not love that clings, not love that grips, but love that supports life. In Buddhism, loving kindness is called metta. Metta is a wish for well-being. It does not demand that others live according to our preferences. It does not say, "Be happy in my way." It says, "May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful." Compassion is called karuna. Compassion feels the pain of another and wants to relieve it. But compassion is not control. Compassion does not steal another person's lesson. It does not rush to fix every discomfort. It knows that some pain is part of growing up. Sympathetic joy is called mudita. It is the ability to be happy when others are happy, even if their happiness looks different than ours. Mudita says, "I rejoice in your joy." Not, "I approve only if you did it my way." And equanimity is called upekkha. Upekkha is not coldness. It is balanced love. It is the steady heart that understands karma, causes, and conditions. It understands that each being inherits the results of their choices. It can care deeply without becoming entangled in panic. These four qualities are called the Brahma Viharas, the divine abodes, because they are the home of a wise heart. When parents live from these qualities, they find the right place to stand. Let me share a small story. A mother once visited a wise elder in a village. Her face was tight with worry. She said, "My son has married. His wife is kind, but she is not like me. She cooks differently. She speaks differently. She runs the home in a different way. My son listens to her. I feel like I am disappearing. What should I do?" The elder invited her to sit and poured her tea. He poured slowly. The cup filled, but he kept pouring. Tea overflowed and spilled onto the floor. The mother jumped up. "Stop, stop! The cup is full. It cannot hold more." The elder looked at her and said gently, "Yes, when a cup is full, it cannot hold more. When a home is forming, it must have space to become itself. If you keep pouring your way into their cup, the tea will spill as conflict." The mother was quiet. She understood something without being lectured. Her love had been pouring too hard. In the Buddha's path, wisdom often enters like this, not as a punishment, not as shame, but as a clear seeing. When your child marries, a new cup is being shaped, a new rhythm is being discovered. Even if the couple makes mistakes, they must learn how to correct them together. If parents keep stepping in, the couple does not learn. The couple becomes dependent, and dependency eventually turns into resentment. Some parents fear that stepping back means losing the child. But stepping back with love is not losing, it is allowing. Think of a bird. When a bird is young, the parent bird brings food. The parent shelters the chick. But one day, the wings must open. If the parent bird keeps the chick in the nest forever, the chick does not become a bird. It becomes a prisoner of comfort. In the same way, marriage is the opening of wings. The parent's role changes from builder to supporter, from director to mentor, from manager to refuge. So where should parents stand? A helpful image is this. When your child is married, stand behind, one step back. Not behind as in abandoned, behind as in support, behind as in a safe presence, behind as in a quiet blessing. When you stand behind, you can still see. You can still care. You can still be ready. But you are not blocking their view. You are not pulling their arms. You are not steering their wheel. Standing behind means you let the couple lead their own home. You let them decide how they spend money, how they arrange the house, how they raise the children, how they solve arguments. You let them try, fail, learn, and grow. Standing behind means you do not compete with the spouse. You do not try to remain the most important voice. You accept the natural shift of loyalty that marriage brings. Standing behind means you stop measuring love by obedience. You start measuring love by sincerity, respect, and trust. Now, some parents may say, "But I have experience. I know what works. If I do not advise them, they will suffer." This thought is understandable. Experience is valuable. But the Buddha taught that wisdom does not fully mature through hearing alone. Wisdom matures through seeing, doing, and understanding consequences. Your child must learn through life. A parent can offer a lamp, but cannot walk the road for the child. A parent can offer a map, but cannot force the child to take the safest route. Life itself is the teacher. There is another small story. A father planted a young bamboo stalk in the yard. He noticed it leaned to one side. So he tied it gently to a stake so it could grow straight. For a while, the tie helped. The bamboo became stronger. But the father kept the tie too long. Years passed. The bamboo grew thick. The rope pressed into the bamboo skin. It left a deep scar. One day, the father finally removed the rope. The bamboo could breathe again, but the scar remained. The father wept. He said, "I wanted to help you stand straight, but I held you too long." This is what happens when control stays longer than it should. The child grows, but with a hidden wound. The relationship becomes marked by fear, guilt, and resistance. The Buddha's path is a path of skillful action, not just good intention. Skillful action means we ask, what is the result of what I am doing? Even if my heart is loving, if my action causes harm, I must adjust. So let us explore, in simple language, what skillful love looks like when children marry. First, skillful love respects boundaries. A boundary is not a wall. A boundary is a clear line that protects peace. A boundary says, this is their home. This is their decision. A boundary says, I can love you without entering every room of your life. Many conflicts between parents and married children come from unclear boundaries. Parents assume they can enter anytime, speak anytime, decide anytime. The couple feels invaded. Then the couple becomes distant. Then the parents feel rejected. And the cycle continues. Boundaries stop this cycle. Boundaries keep love clean. If you want to visit, you ask. If you want to advise, you ask if advice is welcome. If you want to help, you offer and let them choose. If they say no, you respect it. This is not weakness. This is strength. Because it requires humility. Humility is a hidden jewel in family harmony. Humility says, I may not know everything. Humility says, your home is yours. Humility says, I trust you to learn. Second, skillful love practices right speech. The Buddha taught right speech as part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech is truthful, beneficial, timely, and gentle. In family life, right speech becomes a bridge. Wrong speech becomes a knife. Many parents harm without realizing it through words like these. When I was your age, I did it better. Your spouse is changing you. You don't care about us anymore. If you loved me, you would do what I say. This is not how our family does things. These words may not be shouted. Sometimes they are whispered. Sometimes they are said with a smile. But they carry poison. Right speech asks a different question before speaking. Is this true? Is this kind? Is this useful? Is this the right time? Sometimes something is true, but not useful. Sometimes something is useful, but not the right time. Sometimes something is kind, but not clear. Wisdom balances these. If you are a parent and you feel irritation toward your child's spouse, be careful. Your irritation will leak through tone, facial expression, and small comments. You may think you are hiding it, but the home will feel it. When you speak about the spouse, speak as if you are speaking about a beloved guest. Because your child's spouse is now part of your child's happiness, if you disrespect the spouse, you disrespect the heart of your child. Third, skillful love understands the nature of attachment. The Buddha described attachment as clinging, upadana. Clinging is the mind grabbing at something and saying, mine, my child, my family, my way, my tradition, my authority. Clinging feels like security for a moment, but it becomes suffering, because what you cling to will change. Your child will change. Your role will change. Your influence will change. Even your body will change. So the Buddha taught non-clinging, not as rejection, but as freedom. Non-clinging says, I love you, but I do not own you. It says, I care, but I do not control. It says, I guide when invited, and I step back when not invited. Non-clinging is not easy. It touches the deepest fear in the parent's heart. If I am not needed, who am I? Many parents do not only cling to the child, they cling to the identity of being the center. They cling to the feeling of importance. When marriage happens, that feeling is challenged. And so parents may compete with the spouse, compete with the couple's time, compete with the couple's loyalty. But a wise parent sees this and practices letting go. Not because they are weak, but because they are awake. Here is a practice. If you are a parent, sit quietly and ask yourself, what do I truly want from my child? Do I want my child to obey me? Or do I want my child to be happy, stable, and wise? If you want happiness for your child, then you must want a peaceful marriage for your child. If you want a peaceful marriage for your child, you must stop being a source of tension. This is simple, but it requires courage. Now, let us share another story. Very ordinary, very human. A young couple moved into a small home near the husband's parents. The mother-in-law was energetic and helpful. She came every morning to just check if everything was okay. She rearranged the kitchen because she wanted it to be efficient. She corrected the wife's cooking because she wanted it to be healthy. She told the husband what the wife should do because she wanted harmony. At first, the wife smiled. She tried to be polite. She kept silent, but inside, she felt like she could not breathe. She felt like a guest in her own home. She felt watched. She felt judged. The husband loved both women. He began to feel torn. His heart became heavy. He avoided going home early. He stayed longer at work. The mother-in-law noticed the distance. She felt hurt. She said, "I did so much for them. Why are they ungrateful?" One evening, the husband finally spoke honestly. He said to his mother, "I love you. I respect you. But when you enter our home without asking, my wife feels small. When you correct her, she feels ashamed. When you tell me what she should do, you put me between you. I want you in our life, but we need space to become a family." The mother-in-law cried, not because she was evil, because she was afraid. She was afraid of being left behind. Then she remembered something her grandmother once told her. When you hold sand too tightly, it falls through your fingers. When you hold sand gently, it stays in your palm. She decided to change. She began to call before visiting. She asked, "Would you like help, or would you like privacy today?" She praised the wife for what she did well. She stopped correcting small things. She smiled more and directed less. Slowly, the home softened. The wife relaxed. The husband came home earlier. The mother-in-law was invited more, not less. This is the paradox of wise distance. When you stop pushing into the home, you are welcomed into the heart. This is the place where parents should stand. Close enough to be supportive, far enough to be respectful. In Buddhism, this is the middle way of relationships. Not too tight, not too loose. Now, some listeners may think, this sounds good, but what if the couple truly makes bad decisions? This is a real concern. The Buddha did not teach blind acceptance. He taught wisdom. So we need to understand the difference between interference and protection. Interference is control over preferences. Protection is support in real harm. If a couple chooses a different style of living, that is preference. If they choose different food, different furniture, different routines, that is preference. Let them. If a couple faces addiction, violence, severe mental crisis, or dangerous financial collapse, that is harm. In those cases, compassionate action may be needed. But even then, the action should be skillful. It should aim to empower, not dominate. How do we act skillfully? We act with listening first. We ask questions. We offer resources. We invite professional help when needed. We do not shame. We do not threaten. We do not use help as a weapon. In the Buddha's teaching, the heart of help is compassion, not superiority. Now, let us turn to the emotional truth underneath all of this. When children marry, parents often feel grief. They may not call it grief, but it is grief, because something is ending. The daily closeness may end. The familiar routines may end. The role of being needed may end. And grief is not wrong. It is simply the heart responding to change. But if grief is not recognized, it becomes control. It becomes criticism. It becomes blame. It becomes guilt-tripping. So the Buddha taught mindfulness. Mindfulness means knowing what is happening inside without being carried away. If you are a parent, you can practice this. When you feel hurt because your child did not visit, notice the hurt. Say silently, "Hurt is here." When you feel jealousy toward the spouse, notice it. Say, "Jealousy is here." When you feel fear of being alone, notice it. Say, "Fear is here." When you name the emotion gently, you create space around it. Then you can choose a wise action instead of reacting. This is how the heart becomes free. Let us share a simple reflection that the Buddha often encouraged. Everything that is dear to us is subject to change. We cannot keep it as we wish. This reflection is not meant to depress you. It is meant to soften your grip. It is meant to help you appreciate love without trying to freeze it. When parents accept change, their love becomes lighter. Their presence becomes sweeter. Their child feels safe to return. Now, let us speak about one of the most sensitive areas in family life: money. Money can become a hook that catches the heart. Parents may give money with invisible strings. Children may receive money with hidden resentment. Couples may disagree about parent support. So what is the Buddha's guidance here? The Buddha encouraged generosity, but also wisdom. If you give, give freely. Do not give to control. Do not give to keep power. Do not give and then demand obedience. If you lend, be clear. Be honest. Speak about expectations openly. Unclear giving creates confusion. Confusion creates conflict. If you cannot give without controlling, sometimes it is better not to give, because the peace of relationship is more valuable than financial help. Here is another small story. A father gave his married son money for a new business. He did not say it was a loan. He did not say it was a gift. He only said, "Use it well. Don't embarrass the family." The business struggled. The son felt pressure. The wife felt fear. The father began to visit and question every decision. He demanded updates. He criticized spending. He compared the son to other successful relatives. The money became a chain. One day, the son returned the remaining money and said, "Father, I would rather struggle with freedom than succeed with humiliation." The father was shocked. He realized his help had become control. Later, the father approached his son differently. He said, "I am sorry. If you want support, tell me how you want it. If you want advice, ask me. If you want privacy, I will respect it. My love is not a transaction." That sentence changed their relationship. The son cried. The wife's heart opened. Trust returned. This is a deep lesson. Love should never be used as a payment system. Love is not a contract. Love is a wish for well-being. Now, we also need to speak to sons and daughters who are married, because harmony is not only the parent's responsibility. A married child also has duties. In the Buddha's teachings on family life, gratitude is a great virtue. Parents gave you life. They cared for you. Even if they made mistakes, their effort deserves respect. So if you are married, do not respond to your parents with coldness. Do not treat boundaries like weapons. Do not say, "Stay away," with anger. Say, "I love you, and I want our relationship to be peaceful. Here is what helps me and my spouse feel calm." Communicate early, gently, and clearly. Do not wait until resentment becomes a fire. Also, include your spouse in respect. Never complain about your spouse to your parents. This invites division, and division destroys trust. If you need to share difficulties, choose a wise person, not someone who will take sides and stir conflict. A healthy marriage needs unity, and unity is built by protecting each other from unnecessary harm. Now, let us speak about the spouse. The spouse often stands in the most difficult place. If you married into a family, you may feel pressure to please. You may feel watched. You may feel compared. You may feel like you can never be good enough. In Buddhism, the way through this is patience and clarity. Patience does not mean accepting disrespect. Patience means not reacting with hatred. It means responding with steadiness. Clarity means speaking truth kindly. It means setting boundaries without hostility. It means remembering that your partner is your main ally. When you feel hurt, speak to your partner first with gentleness. Do not collect silent anger until it explodes. Many homes suffer not because people are bad, but because people do not know how to speak with love when they are hurting. The Buddha's path is a training in this. Now let us return to the central image. Where should parents stand? Stand behind with blessing. Stand beside when invited. Stand in front only when there is real danger. And even then, stand in front with compassion, not pride. This is the balanced place. How can parents learn this in daily life? Let us make it practical. Here are simple questions parents can use before speaking or acting. Do they need my help? Or do I need to feel useful? Am I offering support? Or am I demanding control? Am I trying to protect them from harm or from discomfort? Am I speaking to build peace or to prove I am right? Have I asked for permission to advise? These questions are like a mirror. They show us our hidden motives. When motives are pure, actions become gentle. Now let us explore a deeper layer. Many parents struggle to step back because they fear emptiness in their own life. When the child leaves, the home becomes quiet. The parent may feel purposeless. The parent may feel invisible. The parent may feel that their best years are gone. In Buddhism, this moment is a doorway. It is the doorway into your own practice. The Buddha taught that the mind suffers when it clings to identity. I am a parent, so I must be needed. I am the center, so I must be obeyed. I am older, so I must be right. When identity shakes, suffering arises. But if we use this moment to turn inward, it becomes liberation. What can a parent do? Return to the breath. Return to the present. Return to kindness. Cultivate friendships. Cultivate wholesome activities. Serve the community. Learn. Meditate. Develop a heart that is rich, not dependent. When parents build a meaningful life, they do not need to control their children to feel alive. They become like a tree with deep roots. Even if birds fly away, the tree remains strong. Here is a short story. An elderly woman lived alone after her children married. At first, she felt abandoned. She sat in her house and stared at the door, waiting. Days passed. Her mind became bitter. One day, she visited a temple and listened to a monk speak. The monk said, "When you wait for others to fill your life becomes a begging bowl. When you fill your life with goodness, your life becomes a lantern. Others will come to your light." The woman began to volunteer at the temple kitchen. She cooked for people who were sick. She listened to younger women who were struggling. She learned to meditate. Her face softened. Months later, her children visited more often, not because she demanded, because they felt peace when they were near her. This is also a lesson. When you stop begging for love, love returns naturally. Now let us speak about a very common situation: grandchildren. Grandchildren can bring great joy, but they can also bring conflict. Many grandparents want to raise the grandchildren in their way. They may say, "In my time, we did it like this." They may criticize the parent's method. They may spoil the child to feel loved. The couple may feel disrespected. The child may become confused. The home becomes tense. So what is a wise approach? Grandparents can be a source of warmth and support, but the parents are the main decision makers. If you want to help with grandchildren, ask the parents what they want. Follow their rules as much as you can. If you disagree, speak privately and gently. Do not correct the parents in front of the children. This undermines authority and creates chaos. Remember, your job is not to prove you were right. Your job is to protect harmony. There is a simple phrase that can save many situations. How would you like me to support you? This phrase honors the couple. It keeps you close without crossing. Now let us address a painful habit, saying, "I told you so." The Buddha's teaching encourages compassion, not victory. When someone falls, they already know pain. Adding pride to their pain is cruelty. So if your child makes a mistake, do not say, "You should have listened to me." Say, "Are you okay?" Say, "What do you need?" Say, "I am here." This is the kind of support that builds trust. When children know they can return without being shamed, they return more. Now, we will explore the Buddha's principle that truly unlocks this topic: the relationship between craving and suffering. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from craving, from wanting reality to be different. As parents, we crave. We crave to be needed. We crave to be respected in a certain way. We crave to control outcomes. We crave to avoid loneliness. And when reality does not match these cravings, we suffer. Then we try to reduce suffering by controlling others. But control only creates more suffering. The Buddha offered a different method. Understand craving, let it go, and cultivate wisdom. When you feel craving in the heart, pause, breathe, ask, "What am I craving right now?" Maybe you crave your child's attention. Maybe you crave to be consulted. Maybe you crave to feel important. Then ask, "Is this craving helping my child's marriage?" Often the answer is no. Then practice letting it go, gently, not with force, with understanding. Letting go is like opening a tight fist. At first the hand aches, then it relaxes, then it becomes free. Now we will do a simple meta-reflection in words. You can listen and let it touch you. May my child be safe. May my child be happy. May my child be peaceful. May my child and their spouse learn to love well. May their home be filled with patience, respect, and laughter. May I learn to support without control. May I learn to speak with kindness. May I learn to stand in the right place. If these words bring you calm, you may support this space by gently liking the video or subscribing to Buddha Peaceful Mind. Not as an obligation, but as a small act that helps these teachings reach more hearts. Now, let us speak about what it means to honor parents while also honoring marriage. In many cultures, children are taught that obedience is respect. But obedience is not the same as respect. Respect can be present without obedience. A married child can respect parents and still make different choices. So parents must also learn a higher form of respect. Respect for the child's autonomy. Autonomy is not rebellion. It is adulthood. When parents accept autonomy, the relationship becomes adult to adult, not adult to child. This is healthier. This is more equal. This is more peaceful. When parents do not accept autonomy, the relationship remains stuck. The child becomes either submissive or distant. Both outcomes lead to suffering. So a wise parent learns to say, I trust you. I respect your choices. I am here if you need me. These sentences are powerful. They heal more than long lectures. Now, there is another important point. Parent must not recruit their child into emotional caretaking. Some parents say things like, "If you don't come, I will be sick. If you don't listen, you are a bad child. I sacrificed everything. You owe me." These words create guilt. Guilt is not love. Guilt is a chain. In Buddhism, generosity is wholesome when it is free. If sacrifice becomes a weapon, it poisons the relationship. A parent's love should not demand repayment. A parent can share feelings, yes, but feelings should be shared to build closeness, not to manipulate. Instead of guilt, use honesty. I miss you. I would love to see you. When you have time, please visit. This invites love without pressure. Now, let us speak about the inner practice for parents who struggle with letting go. The Buddha taught that all beings are owners of their actions. Each person must walk their karma. Parents can guide, but cannot control karma. When we accept this, the mind relaxes. Try this reflection. My child is not mine. My child is a being on a path. I can love. I can support. I can advise when asked, but I cannot live their life. This reflection may feel cold at first, but it is actually warm because it removes impossible expectations. It removes the burden of control. It creates peace. Now, some parents may feel, if I step back, my child will forget me. This fear is common, but often the opposite is true. When parents step back with warmth, the child feels safe. Safety creates closeness. When parents step forward with control, the child feels threatened. Threat creates distance. So if you want closeness, become safe. How do you become safe? You become safe by listening more than speaking, by asking more than telling, by praising more than criticizing, by accepting more than comparing. A safe parent is like a calm harbor. The child's boat can return without fear of storms. Now, let us address the subtle pain of parents who feel replaced. When your child loves their spouse deeply, you may feel jealousy. You may think, I was the most important person. Now I am second. This thought hurts. In Buddhism, jealousy is a form of suffering rooted in comparison. Comparison says, I am losing. But love is not a competition. Love is not a limited resource. When your child loves their spouse, it does not mean they love you less in essence. It means their love is expanding into a new form. A wise parent practices mudita, sympathetic joy. Mudita says, I am happy that you have love. Mudita says, I celebrate your happiness because your happiness is precious. Mudita transforms jealousy into blessing. You can practice this by saying, may their love grow. May their home be stable. May they protect each other. May they become better human beings through marriage. When parents bless the marriage blesses the parents, because a peaceful couple creates a peaceful family. Now let us speak about conflict and how to respond skillfully when it arises. Conflict is not always a sign of failure. Sometimes conflict is simply a sign of unmet needs and unclear communication. The Buddha offered a method. Pause, observe, respond, do not react. If a disagreement happens between you and your married child or their spouse, try this. First, breathe. Do not speak quickly. Second, check your intention. Ask, do I want peace or do I want to win? Winning feels good for a moment, but it breaks relationships. Peace lasts. Third, use gentle words. Say, I may be wrong, but this is how I feel. Say, help me understand. Say, can we talk calmly? Fourth, apologize when you make mistakes. A parent who apologizes teaches humility. It does not reduce respect, it increases it. Many adults carry pain because they never heard their parents say, I'm sorry. If you can say it, you heal generations. Now, here is a story that shows the power of a simple apology. A father was proud and strict. His daughter married and moved away. He often criticized her choices. One day, he visited and argued with her husband about a small issue. The atmosphere turned cold. He returned home angry. That night, he could not sleep. He remembered how his daughter looked when she was a child, running to him with open arms. He realized, my pride is pushing her away. The next morning, he called. He said, I spoke harshly. I am sorry. I want to learn how to be part of your life in a good way. His daughter cried. She said, Father, I have waited years to hear that. The relationship changed from that day. The Buddha taught that hatred is not ended by hatred, but by love. In family life, pride is not ended by pride, but by humility. Standing behind means you do not spread complaints to relatives and neighbors. Standing behind means you protect the dignity of your child's home. Standing behind also means you keep your own heart healthy. Because if your heart is full of bitterness, you will leak it into the relationship. So fill your heart with practice. A simple practice is gratitude. Each day, remember one good thing about your child, one good thing about their spouse, one good thing about their home, even if it is small. Gratitude softens the mind. A soft mind speaks softly. Soft speech creates peace. Another practice is generosity without expectation. Give a blessing. Give a smile. Give encouragement. Not to receive control, but to share goodness. Another practice is patience. Patience is the ability to stay calm while things unfold. Marriage takes time to mature. The couple will have conflicts. They will learn. Do not rush to fix everything. Let them learn to talk. Let them learn to forgive. Let them learn to support each other. Now, let us speak about a mistake that many couples make. They involve parents too much in their marital conflicts. If you run to your parents after every argument, the parents will develop negative images of the spouse. Even if you reconcile, the parents may hold resentment. This creates long-term damage. So couples should protect their marriage by being careful about what they share. Seek counseling if needed. Seek a wise mentor, but do not turn parents into judges. Parents should also refuse to be recruited into marital battles. If your married child comes complaining about the spouse, listen with compassion, but do not take sides quickly. Ask, have you spoken with your spouse calmly? Ask, what is your part in this conflict? Encourage reconciliation. Encourage understanding. Be a bridge, not a weapon. This is wise support. Now, let us address a reality. Sometimes parents and children live together after marriage. This can work beautifully if everyone practices boundaries and respect, but it can also create constant friction. If you live together, make agreements. Agree on private space. Agree on household responsibilities. Agree on money. Agree on visiting times. Agree on how decisions are made. Without agreements, assumptions will create resentment. And the Buddha's teaching reminds us, assumptions are shadows. Clear communication is light. Now, let us pause and reflect on the deeper meaning of family in Buddhism. The Buddha did not teach that family is an obstacle. He taught that any relationship can be a path of practice. Family is a training ground for patience, kindness, and letting go. Your child's marriage is not only their lesson, it is also your lesson. It teaches you to transform attachment into love. It teaches you to transform control into trust. It teaches you to transform fear into wisdom. This is a spiritual path. When you step back with kindness, you are practicing renunciation. Not renunciation of people, but renunciation of clinging. This is a high practice. When you bless their home, you are practicing metta. When you rejoice in their happiness, you are practicing mudita. When you stay balanced in difficulties, you are practicing upekkha. When you respond to pain with understanding, you are practicing karuna. So family life becomes a temple. The home becomes a place of awakening. Now here is a story from the spirit of the Buddha's teaching about letting go. A monk once held a small bird in his hands. The bird was injured. He cared for it until it healed. When the wings were strong again, it was time to release it. The monk opened his hands, but the bird did not fly. It stayed. The monk felt warm and happy. He thought, "It loves me." But then he realized the bird was not staying out of love. The bird was staying out of fear. It had forgotten how to trust the sky. So the monk gently raised his hands, and the bird finally flew. The monk smiled and whispered, "Be free." Parents who hold their children too tightly can create fear, not love. When parents practice wise release, they help their children trust the sky of life. Necessary. A parent with a healed heart does not demand healing from the child. Now, let us offer some gentle guidance for children who want to honor parents well. Visit with presence, not just obligation. When you visit, put down the phone. Listen. Ask about their health. Ask about their days. A small, sincere visit is better than a long visit full of impatience. Speak appreciation. Say, "Thank you for raising me." Say, "I know you worry because you love." These words soften parents. Include your spouse. Do not make your spouse feel excluded. Let your parents see your spouse as family, not competition. When parents feel included, they relax. When they feel replaced, they tighten. But also, protect your marriage. If your parents criticize your spouse, do not stay silent. Silence can feel like agreement. Speak calmly and say, "Please speak respectfully. My spouse is my partner, and I want peace among us." This is not disrespect. This is boundary with love. Now for parents, there is a powerful practice that changes relationships. Ask for forgiveness. You do not have to be perfect to ask for forgiveness. Even if you meant well, you might have hurt. You can say, "I may have interfered too much. I may have spoken harshly. I may have compared you to others. I am learning. Please forgive me." These words are medicine. They break the cycle of pride. Now we will explore an important question. What is the purpose of parenting? If parenting is about controlling a life, then you will suffer. If parenting is about shaping a person to obey you, you will suffer. But if parenting is about raising an independent, kind, responsible human being, then the success of parenting is letting go. You might think of it like teaching someone to swim. At first, you hold them. Then you support them lightly. Then you let them float. Then you step back and watch them swim on their own. If you never let go, they never swim. If you let go too soon, they may drown. So you find the right time with wisdom. Marriage is one of those times when letting go becomes the final lesson of parenting. Now, there is another subtle challenge. Some parents confuse respect with fear. They want children to be afraid because fear looks like obedience. But fear is not respect. Fear creates distance. The Buddha's teaching encourages respect through virtue, not intimidation. A parent earns respect through kindness, integrity, and wisdom. If you want your married children to return, become a home, not a courtroom. Become a place where they are not judged. Become a place where they can rest. Now, we will speak about a beautiful way parents can support a marriage. Offer blessings regularly. In many Buddhist cultures, parents bless the couple. They say, "May you live in harmony. May you grow old together. May you have patience and understanding." These blessings are powerful because they set the tone. They say, "I am not your enemy." They say, "I am on the side of your happiness." If you do not know what to say, you can keep it simple. "I wish you both peace. I'm happy for you. I'm here if you need anything." Simple words, big healing. If this talk is helping you, and you would like more gentle reflections like this, you may subscribe to Buddha Peaceful Mind. It helps this channel continue to share calm teachings for everyday life. Now, let us address one of the hardest situations, when parents do not approve of the spouse. This happens. Sometimes parents see red flags. Sometimes parents judge unfairly. Sometimes parents are influenced by culture, class, or old expectations. What is wise here? First, separate real harm from preference. If the spouse is abusive, dishonest, or harmful, concern may be valid. In that case, speak with compassion and clarity and seek help. Do not attack. Offer support and resources. But if the dislike is about style, background, or small differences, let it go. Your child did not marry a copy of you. Your child married a unique person. The Buddha taught that craving for sameness creates suffering. Life is diverse. People are different. Peace comes from acceptance. Second, if you must speak, speak once, respectfully. Then step back. Do not repeat the same criticism again and again. Repetition becomes poison. If your child chooses the spouse and you continue to attack the spouse, you will push your child away. Because the child will protect their partner, so choose wisely. Keep the relationship. Now there is a teaching about fire that helps here. If you hold a burning coal to throw at someone, you burn yourself first. Criticism is often like that burning coal. It harms the speaker before it harms the listener. So before criticizing the spouse, ask, will this create peace or fire? Will this build or break? Now let us speak about loneliness, because it is often the hidden root. When children marry, parents may face loneliness. Loneliness is painful. It can make people cling. But loneliness can also be met with wisdom. In Buddhism, We learn that companionship is beautiful, but inner peace is deeper. You can cultivate inner peace through mindfulness, community, and meaningful activity. If you are lonely, do not solve loneliness by controlling your child. Solve loneliness by caring for your own life. Call friends, join a community, walk in nature, read wholesome teachings, serve others, practice meditation. When your heart is full, you do not need to steal fullness from your child's home. Now, here is a short practice you can do anytime you feel the urge to interfere. Stop. Take one breath. Ask, is this my home or their home? If it is their home, step back. Send a silent blessing instead of a command. This one breath can change the day. Now we will speak about the joy that comes when parents stand in the right place. When parents stand behind, the couple grows stronger. When the couple grows stronger, they face life better. When they face life better, they suffer less. When they suffer less, the whole family becomes peaceful. And the parents themselves become more peaceful. Because they are no longer fighting reality. They are flowing with it. In Buddhism, flowing with reality is not passivity. It is wisdom. It is acceptance of impermanence. It is the end of unnecessary struggle. Now let us offer one more story, gentle and simple. A son visited his mother after many months. He looked tired. His marriage had been difficult. He sat quietly, ashamed. The mother wanted to ask many questions. She wanted to say, "I warned you." She wanted to criticize his wife. She wanted to take control. But she remembered a teaching. When someone is drowning, do not argue about swimming techniques. Offer a hand. So she only said, "Eat first." She warmed food. She sat near him. She did not interrogate. After a while, the son began to speak. He shared his struggles. He cried. The mother listened without attacking anyone. She said, "You are not alone. I believe you can find your way. If you need help, I am here." The son felt safe. He returned home with a lighter heart. And because he felt supported, not controlled, he worked on his marriage with new strength. This is the power of standing behind. It gives strength without stealing responsibility. Now we will gather the teachings into a few simple heartlines, not as rules, but as reminders. Love your child without owning their life. Support their marriage without competing. Offer advice only when invited. Protect peace more than pride. Speak to heal, not to win. Bless their home. Care for your own life. Let your love become freedom. If you remember only one sentence, let it be this. Loving your child is not standing closest. It is standing in the right place. And the right place is where your child can breathe, where their marriage can grow, and where your heart can be calm. Before we close, let us send a final wish. May parents learn the courage to let go with kindness. May sons and daughters learn gratitude without losing their independence. May husbands and wives learn unity without cutting off family. May in-laws become bridges, not storms. May every home become a place of gentle speech and warm understanding. If this message touched your heart, you might share it with someone who needs it. And you may quietly support Budhha Peaceful Mind by liking and subscribing. May it be a small offering that helps peace spread. Thank you for listening. May you be well. May your family be well. May your love be wise and your heart be free.